A great day to us all. Welcome to the third episode of the Intrapreneur Series with yours truly, James Yap Apia, the Intrapreneur. In the second episode, we discussed the fact that there are three main characteristics of an ordinary worker. Yes, three main characteristics of an ordinary worker. And we discussed the first one, which is lack of intrinsic motivation. We then summarized intrinsic motivation as the push from within. We also concluded that any worker who is pushed to work based on an outside influence is an ordinary worker who is also known as an unprofitable worker. We gave examples as this. Assuming you are a front desk officer, I am a client or a visitor or a vendor to your company. I come in there and you give me an attitude. And you are giving me the attitude because in your own thinking, the last time when I came around, I should have given you a tip and I didn't give you a tip. You are giving me an attitude because you feel I am not in your league. You are giving me an attitude because you feel you are better than me. You feel I'm a bother to the company. So you give me an attitude. You are an ordinary worker. And so you are unprofitable. And in fact, you need to be terminated. Now, if you're also working in a company or a setting or a work environment where you deal with stationery and you pilfer to give to your children, when I say stationery, I mean A4 sheet, pens, pencils, eraser, stapler pins, stapler itself, and office space. And you pilfer these things home, or you pilfer these things to execute your own academic projects, or you prefer this to restock your shop somewhere. You are an ordinary worker if you are doing this. You are an ordinary worker. Again, if you're an accountant, or you work in an account department, or you are a supervisor, or you are a manager, you've been given a petty cash to manage, and you manage it anyhow for your selfish personal gain. You are an ordinary worker. Yeah, we can go on and on to cite a lot of examples. But see, we don't have time. As I said the other time, we have just 15 minutes, maximum 20 minutes to work with him. So we don't have much time to do this. In a real presentation, in a real seminar, where we have about 3 hours, we could do this. But for now, it's just about 15 minutes, 20 minutes maximum. So pardon me if I am unable to stretch more examples in the recap. Now, also know that you can always search online for the Intrapreneur Series, episode 2. That's the previous one. This is episode 3. You can search online for episode 2 or even episode 1 for detailed discussions. In this episode 3, we will discuss the second behavior or the characteristic of an ordinary worker. Yes, that's the second behavior or the second characteristic of an ordinary worker. But before we do, and as always, this production is by kind courtesy of Kingdom Harvesters Ministries, a Touch Life ministry, jointly supported by Bocadinos Ghana Limited, your one-stop shop for your onshore, offshore, catering and logistical needs. And Aruka Global Limited, your perfect construction partner. Now, let's kickstart the second characteristic of the three main characteristics of an ordinary worker. The second characteristic is laziness. Now, when we talk about laziness, according to general definition, laziness in any work environment is a state of being. Let me take it again. Laziness in any work environment is a state of being or a situation where an ordinary or an individual or an employee, or let me use it for our consideration, a worker, an individual fails to contribute significantly in the growth of the said work environment. I take it again. Laziness in any work environment is a state of being or a situation where an individual fails to contribute significantly in the growth of the said work environment. So, if you work in any environment and you fail to give your all to whatever activity or job role you have been assigned, you are a lazy worker. Let's also understand that laziness has its roots in lack of intrinsic motivation. Laziness has its roots in the lack of intrinsic motivation, and we discussed intrinsic motivation, lack of it, in the second episode. And I will encourage you to look for the second episode online. It's there. We have not taken it off. Search online. Any search engine, you can search for Intrapreneur Series, and you have all the episodes there. Now, not also that laziness grows with unwillingness to exert effort in completing tasks or fulfilling job responsibilities. It can manifest in various ways. That is laziness. In the life of an ordinary worker, you will find the manifestation of laziness, such as procrastination, doing the bare minimum, taking excessive breaks, that's lunch breaks, avoiding tasks altogether. That is some of the ways you find or you are able to identify laziness with an ordinary worker. Yes, let's take some examples. I believe with some examples we will understand what laziness, the characteristic of laziness of an ordinary worker is all about. Now, I have categorized these examples of a lazy worker into three. I have three. The first one is the habitually late worker. The habitually late worker. When I say the habitually late worker, this worker consistently arrives late, leaves early from job, or takes long lunch breaks, and this by so doing disrupted workflow or production. Now, note that the actions of this person reduces productivity and profitability. If you come to work late, if you will leave early, if you will take long lunch breaks, and such lateness or abstention from job, you disrupt the workflow and productivity, or the production. You disrupt it. Now, this is a punch that is coming. A punch that is coming for such a group of people. Any worker who is almost always 10 or more minutes late to work. Let's listen to this. Any worker who is almost always 10 or more minutes late to work, 10 or more minutes late from lunch break, or leaves work 10 or more minutes early, is a lazy worker. Let me take it again. Any worker who is almost always 10 or more minutes late to work, 10 or more minutes late from lunch break, or leaves work 10 or more minutes early, is a lazy worker. And this person needs to be disciplined, terminated. The second group or category of lazy workers I also call a swivel or avoider worker. A swivel or avoider worker. This worker always finds ways. This worker always finds ways to avoid difficult tasks or unpleasant tasks. Yes. This worker, who is a swivel or avoider worker, they will always find ways, invent ways, create ways to avoid difficult tasks or unpleasant tasks at work. He or she pretends to be busy with other less difficult tasks. Yes, they make themselves busybodies at less difficult tasks. Now, if you are an HR or you are a manager or a supervisor, note this. Except for workers with certain diagnosed chronic diseases, swivel lazy worker always comes in with doctor's sick excuse notes. whenever a difficult task is at hand. Yes, whenever a difficult task is at hand, these people will come in with doctor's excuse notes. And when you identify such a worker, always come in with such excuse note, note that you are dealing with a lazy, ordinary worker. Another punch for HRs, managers, supervisors, except for pregnant women and workers who are diagnosed to be having acute or chronic issues, any other worker who takes more than three sick leaves in a working year is a lazy worker. Yeah. Even taking 2 sick leave in a year is something. Now, let's tolerate through the 3rd one. And you are going the 4th one. You are a lazy worker. And you need to be disciplined or terminated. Yes. You are a lazy worker. The 3rd group or category of lazy workers, I call them excuse maker or blame shifter. Excuse maker or blame shifter. This worker always has an excuse for not completing tasks or meeting expectations. This worker, who is an excuse maker or blame shifter, always has an excuse for not completing tasks or meeting expectations. He or she frequently blames external factors. Yes, they will blame external factors for them not being able to execute the task. And some of these factors are, you will say, the instruction that was given, I couldn't follow. Oh, the resources, the machine to do it, the materials to do it, the so and so to do it wasn't enough. Oh, the supervisor didn't instruct me well. The supervisor was something. The supervisor was too harsh on me, and that's why I couldn't do it. You are a lazy worker. A lazy ordinary worker. Every worker should learn to take responsibility and accept blame where there are issues with performance. Accept responsibility and end the blame game. If you are an HR, a manager, supervisor, hear this. Any worker who only accepts praise but doesn't accept blame and responsibility is a lazy worker. Take it again. If you have one of your colleagues, if you have an employee, a subordinate, and the person is always happy when you are praising, but when it comes to taking responsibility, when it comes to taking blame, he or she will be shifting it to others. Know that this person is a lazy ordinary worker. And you have to be careful with such a person. Yes, if you are one yourself, learn, repent, and learn to move out of it. If you are one yourself, I know today's words were a bit harsh. Yeah, but we are working on ourselves. We are working on ourselves. We are working on ourselves. I'm quoting my spiritual father, Reverend Edwin Padiapa. He says, I quote him, he says, I did not come to preach to you only, but to myself also. All these 3 categories of lazy workers that I've mentioned, the habitually late worker, the swivel or avoider worker, and the blame shifter worker. If I tell you I don't have my weakness in one of them, I'm lying. I am a work in progress. I am also working on it. Yes. So if you hear me mention yours, you are not in it alone. you also have to work on yours. You need to be a work in progress. The day I finish working on myself, God will call me home. So, but the issue is, don't stay aloof and be an worker. Work on yourself to be a better person, to be an entrepreneur, to be an entrepreneur. Yes. So soon, this episode has also come to an end. As I said, forgive me if I stepped on any toe. Yeah. I came to bring you the awareness, the alertness, the prompt for us all to work on ourselves. There is a tendency for every worker. Yeah, there's a tendency for every worker to walk through the corridors of laziness. If we are not found in those corridors today, continually work on yourself so that you can stay like that. But if you are unfortunately found in those lazy corridors in your caring state, please repent and work on yourself. Yeah. If you find yourself now not in the corridors of lazy worker, keep it up. Work on yourself. But if you find yourself in the corridors of a lazy worker, don't look down on yourself. Just repent. Start working on yourself. Please be informed that this production is by kind courtesy of Kingdom Promises Ministries, a Touch Life Ministry. Jointly supported by Bucanilos Ghana Limited, your one-stop shop for your onshore and offshore catering and logistics. And of course, Alika Global Limited, your preferred construction. In the episode 2, we established that there are 3 characteristics of ordinary worker, and we discussed lack of intrinsic motivation. And in today's episode, we have also discussed laziness as the second of the 3 characteristic traits of an ordinary worker. I pray and hope that this episode will add to your knowledge and make you a better worker. Episode 4 will climax the 3 characteristics of the ordinary worker, and it's going to be revealed. Do follow me. Share the link with your contacts. Stay blessed till we meet again. I remain your school. James Young, the entrepreneur. See ya.